So we live together.
Yep.
We watch football together.
Yep.
We talk about football together.
Yep.
Why don't we just start a podcast?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Eye Test. Your boy Lyés and my guy CultureCams. Today we got a special episode. Man United have just beaten Manchester City. It's been lit in this household. I can't lie. It's been good. It's been good vibes. But on the other side of Manchester, there's no other way to describe it. They are in full-blown crisis. 1 win in 11. It's astonishing. And I thought today we'd talk about the issues that they're facing, where it's all kind of stemmed from, the origins of this collapse, but then most importantly, how do you fix Man City? Not just this season, but also going forward. 1 win in 11. So, you know, that those numbers have been like rattling in my head the last few days because it's still hard for me to comprehend. 1 win in 11, just how bad that is.
So I feel like 1 win in 11 makes it sound even better than it actually is, bro. It's 8 losses in 11 games.
You know, I was saying the other day,
like people keep saying 1 win in 11. No, like to make it out like it's like there's 7 draws in there. It's 8 losses.
You know, in the last
games.
11 games, Southampton have a better record in those 11 games than Man City, and they just fired their manager.
There we go.
Like, this is what we're talking about here. Like, that's why it's so hard for me to comprehend, because this is form I would attribute to like Derby 07 or like Norwich in those years they were going down, or Sheffield United last year, or Southampton this season. I would be curious to know in those runs how many times did those teams have 8 losses in 11 games, and if it did, that's kind of the level we're talking about here. But I want to ask you, right? Because we've all heard about how bad it's been. We've watched it. How do you fix Manchester City going forward? Is there a fix this season? Is it a case of like, yo, the season's scraps, like just try and manage top 4 and go into next year with new hope, like 15-16 Chelsea or like Liverpool that one year? How do you fix them?
Well, there's rumors that they might sign about 4 players in January.
4 in January?
In January, bro. Apparently, they might go 4 in January. That's what
Hugo Vienna about to go nuts in his first
bro,
month.
That's what they're probably
Earn
apparently
your
saying.
pay.
I mean, they might have to, because you can't continue this. Like, this isn't like, some tough Ten Hag form or...
No.
Like, this is like relegation form. Like, obviously, they're not going to get relegated, but it's relegation form. So they're going to have to do something drastic. I feel like the only way this can be repaired now is literally a hardcore rebuild. And it's annoying because we're at this stage of the season. You don't really want to talk about transfers too much. But tactically, Pep ain't got it no more. Not for this team. For this team.
That caveat right there just saved your whole life.
No, not for this team. For this current team, come on. 11 games, 8 losses. Pep hasn't got it anymore. To motivate them, he ain't got it no more either. Like, in terms of expecting KDB to just click his fingers and be peak KDB, it ain't happening no more, bro. You know what I mean? So expecting Savinho to now score 10 goals from now to end the season.
1 would be nice.
There we go.
Not 10. 1 would be nice.
It's not happening anymore, bro. Expecting some of these players just pick up. Is Gundogan now gonna get some extra power in his legs? No. So I don't think there's actually much solutions in their 11. Now, that is no excuse to lose that many games. Man City still have a better, when they line up against the opponents, they still have a better team than 95% of teams they're playing against, or at least on paper. So this form is totally unacceptable. And I saw Gary Neville talking about they shouldn't be called a disgrace. They shouldn't, listen, whatever words you want to use about them, you want to use. But don't try and now, because they've won 4 in a row, try and act like they're allowed to be this bad.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. We've done 3 in a row. Teams have done special things, legendary things. They didn't have to go on relegation form, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I know we're trying to respect the champions, which we do, which is why anytime they get 1 win, we give them the benefit of doubt and say, what if City go on another run? We all do that. But don't now start trying to excuse 8 losses in 11 games.
That's crazy.
For top level players, that is embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
Well, because that's my question, right? Like, what's going on in that dressing room right now? When you look at the Kyle Walkers, when you look at the Kevin De Bruyne, like, these are guys that are Gundogan's, Bernardo Silva's. These are guys that have been part of those 4 winning teams. Some of them have been there for all 6. Like, they're coming off losses that they haven't experienced in years. Looking at themselves in the dressing room, is it anger? Is it like confusion? Is it disappointment? What do you think the mood is in that kind of dressing room?
I feel like a lot of them are looking at each other, probably thinking, I ain't seeing you next season, bruh. This is the end.
You think it's kind of just acceptance? I feel like De Bruyne is such an uber competitive guy.
Yeah.
He's going in there throwing shit at the wall, like going crazy. Pep, I can imagine Pep.
Yeah.
Like he's literally losing his mind.
Yeah.
But I feel like in there as well too, he's going crazy.
But
bro.
I feel like they're feeling a little bit defeated. Look at when
Really?
Look at when City scored against us. A deflected cross and a header from Guardiola. Did you see Pep's reaction?
Yeah.
He's like, it's like he didn't even know. I don't even know if that's just like, oh, finally, or that's not a constructed goal. I don't know what his reaction is to that, right? But you look at Man City, and the thing is, like, what you're saying is, what are the people in the camp saying? None of them are coming out with anything positive. None of them are coming out like, where KDB, the uber competitive, he hasn't come out and said, we're Man City. Like, this ain't happening no more.
The only one one that tried saying something was Ruben Diaz.
And within 2 games, he changed his tone.
Yeah, he said,
he was like, damn, yo, I didn't realize it was this bad, bro. I'm telling you, he walked in like fresh, like, ooh, back from injury, lads. Then was like, oh, damn, okay, this isn't, I didn't realize, bro. You know what I mean? Like, no one has come out. Yeah, it's all good, Erling Haaland posting on Twitter that, like, we'll be weird, whatever. But no, where's the person on the pitch? Where's the arguments on the pitch? Where's the potential fight on the pitch? Where's the person that's throwing themselves into challenges? Where's the person that after the game, they come out and they say, this is unacceptable. We're going to do this. Whatever it takes, bro. Whatever it takes. I remember, maybe it's a similar thing, when Juventus were in terrible, terrible form and Allegri kind of just said, every player come to change the ground. Don't say anything. You ain't seeing your family for 2 weeks. We're locked in. After that, they went on like an unbeaten streak for like 10 games. Now, I'm not saying Pep now quarantine your players or anything like that, but drastic times call for drastic measures. And I'm not seeing that level of leadership. And Big Steve was talking about it, that like Kyle Walker, like if it was a Vincent Kompany, now they probably never went through anything like this, but Kompany would have come out with his chest out. I'm sorry, Foden, I know you're young, but you're the player of the year. When are you going to come out and say something? Haaland, when are you going to come out and say KDB, Walker, Gundo, like, only person that's coming out saying anything, and I'm thinking, bro, they need to get the mic off him, is Bernardo Silva. And every time he speaks, he just sounds like
Nunez, your shit. This
guy.
guy.
Like, this guy dead. We're like under 15s. Nah, where's the person like really, really rallying them? And I don't want to talk about like old school captains or anything like that, but you just don't
But in
feel
moments like this is where leaders kind of stand up, gather the troops, and hold themselves accountable for sure.
Maybe this is where when you have this kind of group captain kind of thing, maybe this is a fault in it, a flaw in it, because there's not one man that's just saying, I'm the leader of this team, and this we're gonna. You have this kind of like captaincy contingency. So Kyle Walker, he's going through a terrible time on the pitch. Off the pitch, he's had some issues. So he might be thinking, I just want to stay away from the media limelight. Pass that responsibility onto Diaz. Diaz passes it on to KDB. Nobody really wants to take that full brunt of it.
Here's the thing as well, too, because I know people are going to hear what you're saying, Man City fans in particular. They're going to say, Cam, this is all cliche talk and all these leaders. At the end of the day, it's tactical. These guys can't run anymore. Blah, blah.
Yeah.
But, okay, I hear all of that, right? But in that game against Man United, you're 1-0 up with 2 minutes left on the clock. In that moment, for me, tactics, how physically fit you are, it comes into account, sure, but also mentality and just controlling the game and seeing out the final 5 minutes without making any boneheaded decisions and making sure the rest of your teammates are calm, that comes into it. And the way Man City, like as much credit as we want to give Amorim and Ahmad and the substitutions, I get all of that. Man City imploded in that game. And they've imploded in a few games during this run as well too, where you get the impression with a calmer set of heads in there and a guy as well too telling everybody, let's relax, just a few minutes left to go. This win could kind of kickstart our season. That kind of stuff wouldn't happen. That Man United loss for me was alarming because we know Bernardo, Gundogan, De Bruyne, all these guys, we get it. They're in the wrong side of 30. We get it. They haven't recruited well enough. But in those moments,
you know what kicks
I would expect that from any team.
What we say is confidence is the most important thing in football, right? If you're not confident, you struggle, bro. You could be Ronaldinho. If he's not confident, that flip flap, it's not landing, bro. It's gonna go off the pitch. If you're not confident, you can't do certain things. And I think Man City have lost belief in themselves. They've lost belief in even being able to get wins. So in these moments, Feyenoord, for example, you're 3-0 up.
There you go. That's capitulation.
They cannot be doing that. They don't believe it. One goal went in and they were like, what should we do?
That's what I'm saying. That's alarming to me because a team with strong leadership and real leaders in there, this is not me questioning anyone's credibility, but in these kinds of moments, you have to look at that.
I think they've lost belief. I think they've completely lost belief because you look at what Nunez did. He panicked. He saw that Ahmad was going to shoot, right? Obviously, Ahmad didn't shoot, but he panicked in a situation where last season, They might have just ushered Ahmad off away.
You know what's
He's
so weird,
panicking
though,
like,
Cam?
yo, I need to
We're
get the
talking-
ball.
We're
They're
talking about a
panicking.
team over the last 4 years. They won the league every single time, and in the fashion they're doing it as well too. We were calling the mentality monsters.
Yeah.
These guys, when it's crunch time, they always come up clutch. They are always in it till the end. You can never count out City. They're the comeback kids at their own ground. The things that we're kind of talking about City right now are not things I expect to be saying about Manchester City.
And this is the thing, though. It also does come down to, listen, when you don't have sometimes if you don't have the leader, what I always say, right? If you don't have the leader on the pitch, the leader has to come off the pitch, right? Which is Pep Guardiola, right?
Sure.
So sometimes if you don't have that superstar, sometimes your manager is your superstar. That's we've had a conversation about that. Sometimes the manager is the superstar. We see it with Jose Mourinho, you see it some people. You don't have the leaders on the pitch, you need your manager to do that. If I'm going through terrible form, and my form is turning, we've lost 8 and 11, and my manager's scratching his head, cutting his face, erratic on the touchline. Every decision, he's throwing his hands up. We score, he's not celebrating. He's doing this, he's doing that. And I'm going through bad form. Do you think that's filling me with confidence?
No.
And you think in the last 5 minutes, I'm confident to just see the game out, or I'm not panicking and thinking, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to make a mistake. We have to be honest. Like, when it's other managers, when Arteta's running down the touchline and shouting, we say we're filling Arsenal being filled with too much emotions. They're too emotional. What's Pep Guardiola doing right now? What is he doing on the touchline? So we have to, he's one of the greatest managers ever, but managers have flaws. Every manager has flaw. And right now, I don't see him filling his team with that much confidence. I don't know what he's saying in the change rooms, but coming out every week and just basically saying stuff like, you know, I love my team, that gimmick's not working, bro. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's not working. So maybe he's just saying that to us in the public, saying something obviously probably different in the background. But I don't think he's necessarily filling that team up with the belief at the moment that they can go on and win these games. And you look at someone like Conte, when Conte's going crazy on the touchline, when Ten Hag is sitting in his seat and not getting up, what are we always saying? We're looking at managers' antics and we're saying, get on the touchline, shout more. Or if somebody's doing too much, we're telling them, he's too calm, he's too erratic, For me, Pep Guardiola is not looking at the moment like someone that they can look at and just lean on him.
But he almost,
and that's disappointing.
And look, I know at times managers say one thing in the press, another thing in the dressing room, but even the excuses he's kind of giving in the media are, look, I need my players back. I don't want any signings. I need my players back. Which makes it almost make me think, again, I don't know if it's like a front for the media and he says something in private, but is that it? That's the only thing you're missing at the moment is just what, John Stones and Ake coming back all of a sudden?
I need to ask that. Sorry, let me even ask you. Who are the missing players?
I mean, like if you look on paper, they're injured. Who's in the hospital right now? You got Oscar Bob, you got Rodri.
Let's not talk about Oscar Bob.
We know those two because at the start of the season, neither of them were there, and they were still.
And we were if people talking about Savinho.
Stones, Akanji, and Ake are the three for the last few weeks that have kind of been out, but they've also all been here at numerous points in this losing run.
Played this season and was not looking amazing. He got a few equalizers defensively. Yeah. He hasn't looked the same. Ake has been gone for a long time.
Kovacic as well too. He just came back. To be fair,
are these the injuries that are derailing Man City's whole season? I disagree.
This is what I want to ask you, right? The final question on this, because we've seen, for me, 2 incidents where a team won the league, and then, well, I guess 3, but United, we're not even going to count them because that was just a whole fiasco. But I'm going to talk about 15-16 Chelsea here, and then that Liverpool team in 2021, where both of them, after winning the league, fell off for different reasons. Liverpool had a huge injury crisis, and they went on this crazy, like, winless run at Anfield. They lost that record 1 week, and then they didn't win at Anfield again for like 4 weeks or 5 weeks. Chelsea, it was similar. They fired Mourinho. They brought in Guardiola. And I think both times, to be honest with you, they found a tweak at some point tactically that helped fix their season. Chelsea, if you remember, obviously Chelsea still finished outside of the Champions League places, so it wasn't a huge fix, but at one point they were 16th. Gus Hiddink, for me, did a huge thing in terms of bringing John Obi Mikel into that team. And I felt like, when I think of that 15-16 season, I feel like John Obi Mikel played a lot more than he had at any point in his Chelsea career. Like, he almost put him as a Band-Aid, like, we're bleeding. Yeah. Just sit there and do John Obi Mikel things. And to be fair, they got their season back on track. Liverpool, ultimately, I think they ended up playing Nat Phillips and Fabinho at one point. Or no, Nat Phillips and Henderson, I think, at center back. Or Nat Phillips and that one kid. And they were playing Fabinho and Thiago as like 2 defensive midfielders. Like, Thiago was literally playing as a 6 next to Fabinho just to shore up the defense. And eventually, they finished in the top 4. Is there a tweak there for City? Because we're talking, like Pep keeps saying, I don't know, I need my players back. But at some point, is it a case he's either got to go 5 at the back or try 4-4-2 or pack the midfield? Like at some point, he's going to have to go rogue and accept like dark arts tactics, if you want to call it that, right?
I mean, I remember I saw an interview of KDB recently, and it said that he said, not of KDB recently, I watched it recently, and it basically said Guardiola would rather lose his way than win in a fashion that it's not his way.
But sure, at this point, you got to scrap that. You like, come on.
There we go.
At some point, come on, let's be
You got to stop being. You got to drop the stubbornness. You got to be in a different way. Exactly. Like if your players haven't got the legs, then you're gonna have to do something which is stopping transitions. It's stopping their moments. So I have been one that's been saying this whole time. Tactically, I don't think he's done anything to kind of change anything, and that's a massive, bro. Like. If we were going through this with Sir Alex Ferguson, he might go 4-3-3, he might go to 4-4-2, 4-5-1, whatever. But we haven't seen anything where it's like he has changed it up in any way. As I've said, I've said it many, many times, you've got a player in Erling Haaland who's so good in transition. Why don't, at some point, you guys just drop your line a little bit? Yeah, sometimes you're going to have to soak up pressure, outballs with KDB, down to Erling Haaland. We've been seeing Bruno do this to Rashford and Martial and that for decades. Outball, imagine that with higher quality like Haaland and KDB, some outballs down to them. Let Haaland stretch defenses, let him proper run, and you might have one of the best. You have the best transition threat doing what he wants to do. But no, we're seeing the same things. Haaland standing in the box, lingering around Lissandro, Maguire's pushing him all over the gaff. He's doing the same thing every single week. When you're looking at Man City trying to create, they're creating in the same ways. They're either just passing the ball to Doku. He's trying to do his ISO moves. You're giving it to Grealish. He's holding it up. He's passing it back. You're going to KDB. He's trying to find a little cross to Haaland. It's not landing. Foden, he's hiding around the half spaces, gets it, shoots. It's the same thing. Yeah. The right wingers are doing nothing, whether that's Bernardo, whether that's Savinho. None. Bro, Bernardo, I did not know he was playing against Man United, bro.
Same. I genuinely said the same thing.
It's just genuinely like it's not even there. So the same things are happening time and time and time again. But do you think this is a conversation, right? And listen, guys, we understand everything is in hindsight, right? What I'm about to say. Everything is in hindsight because we wouldn't have expected Man City to go like this. And at the start of the season, we didn't see this. But now, with the amount of City graduates that are running around the Premier League right now, do you think City made mistakes with these guys? And I'm not just talking Cole Palmer.
No, Morgan Rogers, Liam Delap.
Is it a thing that they should have been giving these guys games, or how do you see it? Because for example, Morgan Rogers was also at Middlesbrough, so he's been away for quite a while. So now when you see him flourishing, it's like, oh, he's a City graduate. But do you look back at it and you think to yourself, maybe they could have done something? Because you're looking at Morgan Rogers, Liam Delap. I'm not going to say Jadon Sancho. That's ridiculously too far.
Nah.
What's his name? Who did we just say again? Cole Palmer.
There
was
Morgan
somebody
Rogers.
else. There was about two others.
Harwood Bellis or whatever his name is, I guess.
Yeah,
but they need center backs.
Harwood Bellis, who they just sold this summer. Yeah. There was a few others. Like there's a few. There's more. Let me
say this, right? In normal circumstance, I would say no, because when you have the best team in world football, I would say it's very difficult for these guys to kind of get minutes. So I get them not wanting to stick around. But also at the same time, I feel like City's a unique case because, first of all, I hope that this season kind of puts to bed this myth that City have the deepest team in the world. Like, people always talk about City having 2 11s. That hasn't been the case for a long, long time. And Pep has come out and basically said it on numerous occasions. I prefer working with a smaller group these days, 20 players, and for his guys that can play in different roles so that you don't have to manage as many players. But, and I think even this year, the misuse of the academy, I think is something that, you can look at Pep, because sure, all these guys aren't playing. McAtee couldn't have gotten some minutes in this run of games. I know Simpson Poussey played a little at the beginning. There's no other players that can come through from the academy.
I don't get that.
When I look at United, again, coming from a United point of view, right? I get we didn't have the superstars at all times under Sir Alex, but there were always 4 or 5 academy graduates, or even if it wasn't like a world, like it was still Wes Brown, like guys that can come through. So I think City neglecting the academy in the way that they have, I understand it's a high level that they have to get to, but when you look at moments like this, yeah, they could be using a lot of those academy graduates.
So you look at City graduates that are actually playing a lot of football at the moment. You got James Trafford.
Yeah.
You've got Jeremy Frimpong,
Yeah.
which is crazy when you consider what Kyle Walker is saying now.
Yeah.
Jeremy Frimpong, toss in.
Adebayo,
Yeah, toss in. You've got Eric Garcia. They moved him on a long time ago. Angelino, forget him. Romeo Lavia.
That's one of them.
That's a big one.
That one is an L on their part,
Yeah,
bro. Honestly, because they were
Lavia.
looking for Rodri depth this entire time, and they sold a player like that they let him go to a
Calvin
rival.
Phillips.
That's crazy.
Lavia, Cole Palmer,
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Elise. That's
City
a bit.
Academy?
Yeah, well, he's Chelsea, City. He was everywhere. Sancho, forget Sancho. And then of course, you've got Liam Delap. There's a few more, but this was from a few months ago. That article.
Yeah, those are some top players, man. Those are Premier League internationals.
Yeah, you've got obviously Harwood Bellis, Brahim Diaz.
Yeah, I forgot he was with them.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, they have made a lot of money. I think they've broken down the full £442 million. They've made 442, and that was in 2023. And then since then, they have sold Bellis for an extra 20. Delap. So let's say they've made nearly 500 million on the academy, which is incredible.
Yeah, but it's like that one video where that 500 million going to play up front of Erling Haaland right now.
Yeah, they made 500 million, which is crazy. But now when you're looking at it and you're like, wow, they could have needed these guys.
In this run, like in this difficult stretch, for me, the academy players are the ones you're talking about. Like, oh, they can just give you a bit of energy. They understand the.
I think the ones are Lavia,
Lavia's a
Palmer,
big one, bro,
and I think Delap.
I think even Morgan Rogers, bro. That energy and that physicality from midfield.
I'm not even talking about like the player. I'm talking about because Morgan Rogers was like away, and then he was like at Middlesbrough, and then he got. It's kind of different, but you see Liam Delap. He was available this summer to be back at Man City, and Ipswich took him. Yeah. They let Julian Alvarez go. That's a bad business decision, bro. Yeah. Like, Haaland is struggling right now. Delap throws himself about more than Haaland does.
This comes down to the thing, though, with City, where it's like, if you don't want to be here, we're not going to stop you. So I'm sure Delap told them, look, I want to be playing this year a lot. And I get that. For his own personal development, I understand why he'd want to go to Ipswich, and it's paid dividends for him. I'm sure he's going to get a bigger move. But for Man City, look, I get the player development is key, but you have one center forward at your club. Having Liam Delap as a backup that can compete and share minutes with Erling Haaland would never be a bad thing.
And I'm sorry, you're Delap from the academy with Pep Guardiola, KDB, and all these players. If Pep Guardiola tells you you're staying, by the way, because we're going to need you at some point this season, Delap is staying, bro. I doubt he's saying, no, I'm going to Ipswich. No, I have to go to Ipswich. No, he is staying. He's from the academy. He would have stayed, bro. So when I'm looking at it, I think Delap is a bad one because of the situation of City. You let Alvarez go, as we just said. Cole Palmer was a lack of foresight from them because Cole Palmer was contributing off the bench when he came on. He contributed in the cups. He started the season scoring in the Super Cup, scoring in the Community Shield. Riyad Mahrez is gone. You guys were trying to force this guy to go on loan. That was the bad. That was
when
lack
I think of the Mahrez thing, like, bro, you let Mahrez go, and he was supposed to be Mahrez's like replacement, bro.
And then the last one, the reason why I think Lavia as well. Yes, we know Rodri's playing 70 million games at a time. Yeah. You have Lavia there. That's someone that you can probably have pushed through. Didn't need to probably sign Calvert. It was just those like. I'm not going to get onto them for tossing. I'm not going to get on them for Trafford.
No, those two in particular.
Or Jeremy Frimpong. It was a while ago.
Go to Chelsea.
Those ones. Those three. Yeah. Those three are bad. The two that
went to Chelsea, for me, this goes back to United. Why I do not want them sending players to rivals. Yeah. I understand Chelsea at the time when they signed them were not in the picture in terms of title challenging, but that's still a big player in the Premier League title race in general. They're a Premier League powerhouse, and you let two of your best academy graduates go there, and now they look poised to compete for the next few years. That's crazy.
I've said this so many times, bro. Remember we were talking about that conversation with Jadon Sancho a long time ago, and I was like, listen, as bad as Sancho is for us, I don't want him going to another Premier League team. I never was comfortable with it. And I'm not going to be comfortable if it's Marcus Rashford, whoever. I don't understand selling to your rivals. Now, if you're selling to West Ham, you're selling to Fulham, cool. How are you sending these guys to your rivals? For me, I've never understood that. Same thing that happened with Zinni and Gabriel Jesus gave Arsenal the kickstart they needed. Teams now, because of these little decisions, they're going to stop doing it. Cole Palmer, Lavia, Jadon Sancho, Zinchenko, and Jesus, they've ruined that now. I don't think anyone is selling to each other anymore. But Sancho, maybe I'm not saying that we've taken an L. But the fact that
Chelsea are gonna keep doing it, bro. They gave up Havertz and Mount, and they funded their whole rebuild.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Chelsea, they'll send you out. They'll send you out regardless, right? But I don't know, man. I'm just looking at it and I'm like, those lot are got you. It's got to stop.
Bro,
It's got to stop.
crazy.
People
You
are gonna
don't
stop
see
doing
this in
that.
other leagues. Oh, okay, in Serie A you see it.
Yeah, you see it all the time in
La
Serie A.
Liga, bro. Okay, I get Barca, Real, never. But even Barca and Atletico, how often do they do business? Like,
The Turin must have been the last one, no?
I think Suarez.
It was Griezmann.
Suarez and Griezmann. No, I think Luis Suarez is the last one to go from Barca to Atletico. Like, they sell their washed guys, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy to me that Premier League teams now. This never used to happen, bro.
The reason why it's so bad, is because Chelsea let go of Mount in a contract dispute, and it was last year of his contract. Havertz, they deemed him as washed, right?
And they got.
They deemed him as washed, and that was successful for them. The successful sales for Chelsea, but City are selling their future.
That's crazy.
That's different, bro. Even Man United to Sancho, like it didn't work out. We deemed him as done here. City are selling their future, bro, to their rivals.
And it's not even like they're getting crazy money for it either, bro. It's not like they got 100 mil for Cole Palmer, like Lavia. Like it was an option to bring him back. It wasn't that expensive, bro. And like that for me, City have gotten cheap a little in the last few years.
Well, okay, they didn't sell Lavia to Chelsea.
No, but they had an option to bring him back for cheaper than what Chelsea had the option to buy.
And especially that.
And he's
you
your
then
player.
let Calvin Phillips go.
And my point is, you can bring him in, increase his value even more, and then you sell him and bring in the 60, 70.
That's what they can do with the lap this summer. Will they do it? I don't know.
That's why I said for me, they should bring back the left. I don't care like where does he fit in this team. You have to look at it from your point of view as well too. He can benefit you short term. And it's not like we saw with Cole Palmer. He still went for 40 mil even though he wasn't playing at City. If teams see value in the lap and he's getting that City education, even if he doesn't play that much next year, he's still a big target. Teams would pay 60 million in a year.
Listen, as I said, it's all a hindsight conversation, but sometimes hindsight is 2020, innit? It's sometimes like you got to actually look back at some mistakes and you learn from mistakes.
They say history is the best teacher, basically.
Yeah.
Don't make the same mistakes.
100%, man. 100%. Like, I'm looking at it now and it's just like, I don't know. We have a guy in our academy. I think his name is Mantat. Let me make sure. Bendito. Let me make sure it's right. Yeah, so we have someone in our academy, right, called Bendito Mantato. Yeah, Mantato. So
it's like he's from The Godfather.
Yeah. Bro, no, he's actually like a black young right winger, but he can play right back, he can play left wing. So we're looking at him at the moment, and he's looking at someone that I think he's going to get opportunities in preseason with Amorim. I actually think I'm predicting him to be one of the, you know how every manager has a graduate? I'm predicting him to be probably Ruben Amorim's graduate.
Where does he play?
He's playing, so at the moment, he plays either fullback for us in the academy, but he is a winger. So you basically sounds like a Quenda, right? Like a Quenda type. Bro, exciting, fast, dribbles, pace, power. He's got a lot, right? And he's only 16. Okay. So he's got time to grow. So look out for him, right?
Oh.
But that's like us just selling him to Arsenal in next year.
Yeah.
Like, that would be ridiculous, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we're looking at, not saying Dallow's washed or anything, but we're looking at it like, Dallow doesn't suit this role. Hey, let's just sell somebody in our academy that looks like he's primed for that to Arsenal.
And the thing is, bro, Romeo Lavia showed you in the Prem with Southampton that he was like a Premier League level player at minimum. And you let him, you just said,
Premier League player. He was a proper player.
He was the jewel in that team. Even
proper player. He was Kobe Mainoo before Kobe, bro.
You had the option to bring him back on the cheap. And you said, nah, we'll let Chelsea have him. All good.
Bro.
All good. That's
arrogance.
That's crazy. Huh?
Arrogance.
I was going to say, that's crazy arrogance, bro.
Yeah, because he said they will learn from that, from the Arsenal thing. They said they will learn.
They keep saying that. Like, and it's like you said, bro, it's 100% like they're going to have to learn from history because the last 5 years from City, yes, they've been successful on the pitch, but it's come despite some real poor decision-making from the board, from Pep, from ownership. The business hasn't been good enough. I think back at the decisions. They met with Jude Bellingham. They met with Declan Rice. And let's be real with Declan Rice, bro. They backed off eventually. And yes, Declan Rice showed more of an inclination to go to Arsenal. I get that. But City also, this whole mentality of, you know what, we're not going to overspend if we don't have to. We're not going to keep anyone against their will if they don't want to be here. Hey,
I think that's going to change. I think City,
1,000%.
I think City are going to go very, very aggressive this summer. And maybe even in January. I think that mentality of letting things... Listen, the reality is, and I say it time and time again, Arsenal should have been back-to-back champions, right? In my eyes. Arsenal should have been back-to-back champions, and they didn't. And it didn't happen. Man City have gotten away for too long for being able to just be like, we'll let you we'll sell our player to you, or we won't get involved, as you're saying. Oh, we won't get involved for Declan Rice. We don't want to overpay. We won't get in because nobody has punished them. Now, finally, they've been hit in the face, and they're gonna be like, now we're not doing that no more. You really think this summer, if Man City are going for a player with one of the rivals, they're not going to outbid that team? Nah, bro. Man City have learned. They're going to have to learn.
Even forget about before Pep, obviously, but even for Pep's first few years, bro, they're spending 50 on Mendy, 50 on Walker, however much on Leroy Sané, on Kevin De Bruyne. Bro, they were splashing cash throughout that team. That team were filled with, relative to the Premier League, Galactico level signings in terms of Premier League players.
Bro, it's time, bro. They have to go aggressive. I'm telling you, the Premier League, this is the first time.
Haaland's the last guy, and he's like one of like a few guys in the last 4 years in terms of big powerhouse, like world level names that City have brought to the club.
The thing is, I feel like Premier League teams actually struggle to bring in them kind of world level names. But to be honest,
City, I don't think they do.
You think?
I'm not saying they're going to sign Neymar or something like that, but like Leroy Sané was one of the hottest prospects. I
think
Europe.
Prospects, City and stuff, but I don't think the Prem. Haaland is very rare.
I'm not asking City to go sign Vinny, for example. I'm not asking them to go sign the best players in the world. But in terms of players that we all look around and say, oh yeah, he's sick. Yeah, he's one that could definitely reach a super high level. The guys that they're signing recently, bro, I like Savinho. I think Doku a year ago showed me a bit of promise. I'm not saying right now, but even them though, like you're spending 60 on Doku. A few years ago, that was 60 on Raheem Sterling. That was 50 on Leroy Sané. That was 60 on the Bundesliga Player of the Year and Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Listen, it all depends on how. I think it just back to the original question. They just have to be aggressive now in everything they do. Aggressive in replacing the players. Aggressive in letting players go for cheap because they need to just get them off the books. They need to be aggressive in the market. They cannot let anybody bully them anymore. Like, not bully. They cannot walk away from any transfers anymore. They have to go. If that's your first target, they have to go and get it. And one thing City need to do is they have to be comfortable making their stars now uncomfortable, bro. Like, if you bring in, for example, bro, a big decision they're going to have to make is Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh. That's not what I was thinking.
I'm just talking about bringing in.
I think Kevin De Bruyne has gone bro. I think
that's what I'm saying.
If you ask me, I bet KDB is negotiating with Inter Miami.
Yeah,
LA
this
Galaxy,
is what I'm saying.
KDB's clocked out,
this is a big decision to make though. Like I don't
think it is. I'll be real.
You don't think so?
Because I think KDB will make the decision easy for them. I think KDB, bro. A, they're already shifting him out, and I think B, he's already decided to move on.
The reason why I'm saying it's a big decision though is because that's such a figurehead of that club. Now I'm talking about what that could do for the fans, that's going to put the fans in a state of, what's the word, fearful, in my opinion, of the future.
I don't think
if they have for example, if Man City finish 4th and KDB has his farewell goodbye, I don't know if Man City fans next season are going to be like, I'm looking so forward to it. I think there's going to be some fears.
But I don't think so, because KDB has proven at this point, bro, you just can't rely on him anymore. Like, bro, he plays 60 minutes. The 60 minutes aren't vintage KDB, and then you don't know the next time you're going to see him. So for me, I don't think KDB leaving is a huge loss. I think the replacement is a big thing, because if you're telling me as City fans, okay, they finished 4th, KDB departs them, and then they bring in Florian Wirtz, and like that's who City are kind of painting. Okay, look, Kev, thank you everything you did, but this is the new City. I think City fans will be excited. That's for me the one. It's not Kevin De Bruyne. Bro, Kevin De Bruyne is old news, respectfully. It's Phil Foden. Because
I don't think they're going to do anything. They're just going to keep him.
No, it's not about selling him, bro. But I look at that Erling Haaland and Phil Foden dynamic, and I don't think the two of them as 1A and 1B can coexist, because just the style of players don't really mesh together. Erling Haaland barely gets the ball off Phil Foden, bro. If Erling Haaland is really your priority and they want to re-sign him, they want to extend him to a new deal, if that's the case, you have to. For me, this next City era has to be built around Erling Haaland. You need to He's scored goals despite the system and despite Pep. You need to build this next era of City around Erling Haaland to almost convince him as well too. Look, you're the guy. We want to make you the best player in the world, etc., etc. We want you to be scoring and having fun every single game. And I'd look at Phil Foden, and I don't think you're getting the best out of Erling Haaland. He's still going to score you goals, but I don't think you're getting the best out of him if Phil Foden is his running mate. So that's why I look at guys like Florian Wirtz, who are more natural playmakers, natural creators for a center forward. And I look at him and say, yeah, you're going to suit Erling Haaland a lot more. I don't know where that leaves Phil Foden, but at this point...
shooter too, you know.
He is a shooter, but he's more of a natural playmaker. He has an eye for a pass. He creates. Phil Foden has shown you now, you know what kind of player he is. He's not a creator. I've seen him now in this 11-game stretch. I can't think of more than maybe 5 chances he's actually created for his team.
The thing is, though, I think under Pep Guardiola, it's never going to be, we're building for Haaland. That's the thing. So I think it then comes down to how long Pep Guardiola stays at the club
He's
as
got
well.
2 years.
Yeah.
He's got 2 years.
I don't
Are you going
see-
to prioritize Pep's
yeah.
2 years or Erling Haaland for the next 5? For me, it's Erling Haaland.
I don't think Haaland will even be there for the next 5.
That's an
That's the
issue.
thing. Yeah,
That's an
I
issue.
don't
Then.
think
That's
I-
an issue. Yeah.
Yeah. They're gonna go with whatever Pep says. They're not gonna be like, oh, because they'll go with what Pep says. Because really and truly, what's more important to them? Do you think Haaland or Pep? What if Pep?
Has to be Haaland.
They have to make Pep Guardiola happy, because if Pep Guardiola is happy for it, so he could say, okay, I'm going to sign another 2 years. So who's more important, Pep or Haaland? It's Pep.
I think you prioritize Erling Haaland, bro. I'll be real.
Pep is more important to see than Haaland.
I get that, but Erling Haaland is one of those guys that you can almost like. I think the name, the stature, the status. I think Erling Haaland could be a pillar of this football club, and Pep Guardiola is a pillar already. He is the football club. Some could argue, but I just think Erling Haaland. You have him, what he's done in these last 2 years, and he's already such a big name. You could make him your first real global icon. Let's be real. Like, De Bruyne is a brilliant player. He's world-renowned, but his style, I just don't think you're ever going to get a guy who's, like, winning Ballon d'Ors and, like, bringing media attention all the time. Erling Haaland could take Manchester City. He's already been here for 2 years, but I think he could take them another level commercially, another level globally. And I just look at the amount of goals he could be scoring. Like, for me, you got to prioritize Erling Haaland. And he's younger too, man. He's younger.
He's young. I get
that, but he's really young. He's what? 20, He's 23, 24.
Yeah.
Maybe I think he's 24 at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they got a decision to make there.
Let me ask you this real quick, just to end this conversation, right? Where do you see Man City finishing this year? Because I think we're all kind of saying, like, oh, they're going to make top 4. They're going to make top 4. Yeah, they're going to make top 4 this season. Are we so sure about that?
They'll make top 4.
How confident on a scale, 1 out of 100?
I'm confident.
What's the percent you're confident?
I'm giving them 90%.
90%?
Yeah. They'll make top 4.
Well, that requires a big change.
That'll require a big, but I mean,
change.
who's gunning them down? Forest.
I think the whole league's gunning them down.
Yeah, no, but no. I mean, no. Everyone's slapping City.
Savage got you.
Yeah, no. Fulham got you wiped down. Forest got you wiped down. Yeah, I'm not. Everybody's gunning them down in terms of a perform, but I'm talking about who's consistent enough behind them to knock them out of the top 4. Right now, it's Forest, but which is crazy. But I think Forest will drop off. Is United? Can we? Don't know. We're excited after beating City, but then we can go
United
and lose
top
it.
4 myth.
Exactly.
Myth.
So United, is it Spurs? They're not showing that they're capable of that at the moment. No, neither are Villa. Brighton, maybe, but nobody's really behind them showing that they can do enough to. So when City have lost it's not like City have lost these 8 games and then United have won 6 games.
No.
Nah, do you know what I mean? It's like United still dropping. So that's they're gonna, bro. When man make the top 4 and you say, oh, they made it because nobody else wanted to get it. Remember Leicester when they were like bottling top 4, and when we scraped top 4 from Leicester, it's one of them ones. Like City will get it because nobody else wants it. Nobody else is going to do enough to get it. Not because City are going to be too great, in my opinion. What's the gap between us and City? 5 points.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, anything can happen. I think we're going to end the season strong, though.
There's a beast that's approaching. By the way, huh?
Who's that?
AFC.
Oh my gosh. We're gonna have to stamp on that this weekend. We have to stamp on that this weekend, bro.
I can't lie. Bournemouth are a beast that's approaching, 2 points off City.
No.
And they're playing liquid football too, bro.
We're gonna stamp on that, bro. We're gonna stamp on that hopefully this weekend. But yeah, man, I just think teams ain't gonna do enough to stop them. But who knows? Because I think we're gonna end the season strong. I really do.
We ain't got it, man. I can't lie. We ain't got it. We have too many hiccups in our team.
We do, but I think we're gonna end the season strong. That's what I'm saying.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
That's what I'm saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think down below. City season. How do you fix it? Who are some signings you think they should be signing in January and next summer? And most importantly, do they have what it takes to make this year's top 4? Let us know down below. As always, shout out to BR for powering this podcast. Instagram, X, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. Like, share, subscribe. And we'll see you soon. Peace.